بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, my dear brothers and sisters. Welcome back to your show, Ask Eman. Before I break, brothers and sisters, I did say that we will be asking this question. It starts with Assalamu alaikum. Again, it's from WhatsApp. It's Assalamu alaikum. Can a salat istighfar be considered as salat tajahud? Tajahud, again I say tahajjud. Tajahud. I don't know why I'm saying tajahud. Tahajjud.
Yeah, so Bismillah. So naming salah or naming prayers with particular terms requires dalil, requires proof for us from the Quran or Sunnah. So we have salat al-isha or salat al-fajr or salat al-duha.
No.
So salat al-istighfar or some other ulama say salat al-tawbah or the prayer of repentance. Which in essence that if you want to offer prayers, offer salawat, 2 rak'ah, seeking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's forgiveness, la bats, you can go ahead and do that, and you can do that at any time. If you happen to do it in the latter part of the night and you want to consider that part of your tahajjud, then absolutely no problem, inshallah ta'ala. No, wallahu a'lam.
Barakallahu feek, Shaykh. Sister Aisha is on the line, inshallah, brothers. Let's take this call. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. You're on live and Ask Eman. What's your question for us today?
My question is in regards to zakat.
Okay.
So recently I've heard that in regards to zakat, you're supposed to give money and the people that are within the 8 categories that Allah specified should receive that money.
No.
But when it comes to organizations that say they are doing projects that are zakat eligible, I'm just a bit confused as to whether it's regarded as sadaqah or zakat.
Makes sense.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. Barakallahu feek. Do you have any other question?
No, that's it. Thank you.
Jazakallah khair. It's a very good question, Shaykh. And I mean, for me, I'll get confused if that was the case.
Yeah. Okay, so concerning this issue, if somebody finds an online charity, when I say it's not only online, but they find it's available online as well as them having offices and a presence somewhere else.
No.
And they say that they're whatever or some charity that they're accepting, and it can be donated in the form of zakah. There's a couple of issues here. Number one, the mere fact that somebody says this is zakah eligible, as long as that charity has taken knowledge from qualified people to say that yes, this project is zakah, qualifies for zakah, then not a problem. But just because the charity just wants to get donations, so when they just say, yeah, this is zakah, yeah, no problem, we can accept zakah. And what you're building? Oh, we're building a masjid. Well, building masajid, majority of years, it doesn't come under zakah.
No.
Okay, so you have to be very careful as to what, who you're going to give your zakah to. If you find a trustworthy people, a trustworthy organization, and they say that yes, we accept zakah, then you can consider that no problem, you can give your zakah to them, and that they will utilize the money that you give to them for that particular project or people. No.
Shaykh, are you responsible for whenever you give this money, for example, as zakah, and the people are telling you we are giving it towards zakah, but they use it for something else? Are you held accountable for it in the Day of Judgment?
Well,
for not researching, for not finding.
Yeah, there's an element of responsibility upon the one who's paying their zakat to give it to the right people, or a wakil, or to entrust somebody with the responsibility of disposing the zakat in the correct place. There is some responsibility on you, making sure that you choose the right people or charity to do that. If you find out that they've not been doing that, then you're going to need to chase that up with them.
Sure. And
this is because you've not fulfilled your. You might say, well, at the time I gave it, and then later on, if I found out otherwise, that comes back to you. So yes, there is a responsibility upon you to make sure that your zakah is going to the right place. If you gave it with all good intention, and you don't know otherwise, then you can't be held responsible for that because you didn't know. No.
What about the ones who are working on this industry? So, for example, if I'm working in a charity sector, and I know, for example, the zakah money that you're giving me, I know 100% is not going toward the zakah, the category that it's meant to go into, but we use it for other purposes. Am I sinful for working on an organization like that?
Not necessarily you're sinful for working for that organization, but if you know that people have given zakah, and with charity, if you like, there are two categories or two forms of charity that are given. there are funds which are considered restricted funds,
No.
and there are funds which are unrestricted. So if I know charity so and so, and I want to give you £100, and you can do as you like with that charity, whether you want to buy wells or feed poor people, or it goes towards orphans. I just gave the charity as unrestricted, as you like. The charity can use that in anything that they like.
Sure.
If, however, a person says, I'm giving my money for zakah, or I'm giving my money for this project, the charity is only allowed to use that money that they received for that particular charity or zakah, or that particular project that it was given. It's la yajuz. It's not allowed for them to use it for something else. If you're working in that, then it's a responsibility upon you to advise in that organization, to correct them, say this is not allowed for us to do, and that they need to correct themselves concerning this.
Barakallahu feek, Shaykhana. طب we have a caller. Let's take this call, inshallah, brothers. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Ask Eman. Hello, assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Hayakallah, sister, you're live on Ask Eman. What is your question for us today, inshallah?
I want to ask two questions.
Go ahead.
I want to know how many rak'ahs the Prophet ﷺ do for tahajjud, and what is recommended. And the second question is, I've paid some charity sadaqah and through Bankline, and then later on I've checked it and I found out that it's gone through to my overdraft. Is that acceptable or is that not?
Khair. May Allah accept it for me, inshallah. طب Shaykhana, how many rak'ah did the Prophet ﷺ pray for tahajjud?
So we have the narration of Aisha radiallahu anha, which narrates that the Rasulullah ﷺ used to pray 8 rak'at with witr, whether that would be 3 witr or 5 witr, so that would end up being in total 11 or 13 with his witr.
No.
And that he would pray that in Ramadan and outside Ramadan. If, however, you find another masjid praying more rak'at than that, it is permissible for you to join, because the Prophet didn't restrict it to that number. It's not, you can only pray this number. This is the Prophet's practice, and no, that is the best practice. But if somebody else prays more than that, then the vast majority of the ulama, and almost all of the ulama, say it is permissible for you to pray more. So if you pray 20 or you pray more than that, then it's not a problem. What I would encourage you to do is, if you do pray with the jama'ah, that you pray and finish with the imam, so you get the reward of the whole night. Allahu Akbar.
Another thing, it's 40 seconds. She paid money to the charity, realized afterwards it's gone for my overdraft.
It may last part I'll accept from you. You just have to pay that money back on the overdraft that you owe. But it may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept your sadaqah. It's valid, inshallah.
طيب, barakallahu feek, Shaykhana. Brothers and sisters, please remember to join us after our break, inshallah, for more Ask Eman by picking up your phone and calling us here live in the studio by calling us on 0203 515 0769. That's 0203 515 0769. For those of you who prefer to send us messages, continue doing so, inshallah. So for me and Shaykh for now, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. My dear brothers and sisters, welcome back to your show Ask Eman. طيب inshallah we're going to start with our first caller inshallah. Assalamu alaikum, welcome to Ask Eman.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Your life and Ask Eman sister, what is your question for us today?
I have two questions. First one, is it wajib if you travel to a different country to pray safar, or you can just pray normal?
So say it again, sorry. I didn't catch
If you
that.
travel to a different country,
If you travel to a different country,
yeah, is there wajib to pray safar, like to join the prayers?
is it wajib? Okay, I get the
Or
question.
is it,
I get the
or can
question.
you just pray normal?
Okay.
And also the second one is like I'm new diabetic. Like just few weeks now, they find out I've been struggling fasting. The doctor asked me not to fast at all. So I'm thinking what to do as I feel guilty. I mean, do I pay fidya or do I fast in the winter so it's shorter for me? I can handle and took my medication and injections.
Allah yashfiki, inshallah. We'll get the answers for you, inshallah.
Okay, jazakallah khair.
Barakallahu feek. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. طيب Shaykhana, in regards to traveling, is it wajib for you to pray to shorten your prayers if you're traveling from UK to another country?
Okay, so Bismillah. On this issue, with regards to when you're traveling, it is the practice of the Prophet ﷺ to shorten and join the prayers. Is it an obligation for you to shorten and join them? No, it's not an obligation for you. But it is the practice, it is the sunnah. The sunnah is always best. So if somebody is aware of what the sunnah is, then you should go ahead and do that. You shouldn't say, for example, oh, I know that the Prophet ﷺ used to do that, but I'm going to pray my prayers full. This is khilaf sunnah. I mean, your prayer is valid if you pray the full prayer. However, you should take the permission that was given to us, or the license to shorten and join the prayers while traveling. This is from the sunnah, and that's better to do. Wallahu a'lam.
Barakallahu feek. Shaykh, the next question the sister had is about, obviously she's recently found out that she's diabetic, and the doctor has advised her not to fast for the month of Ramadan. Now she feels guilty and she's wondering, what is it I have to do now? Because I can't make up my fast and I can't fast.
Okay, so there is a type of diabetes which you take the insulin via the injection. Okay, and it is permissible. It's allowed for you to fast while being a diabetic, and you taking your insulin via these injections. It's allowed for you to do that. However, there may be other medical issues which I'm unaware of, for the doctor to say to the sister that you shouldn't fast. So I can't comment on her specifically.
Right.
She has specific medical advice for her. But in general, there are other people who do have diabetes and take their injections during the daytime, and they can bear the fast. They can get through it. If it's too much for them, then of course this is something which it remains with them, and they would have to pay a fidya, because it's not something you have for a couple of days and goes away.
Right.
It's considered that it will stay with you. So if you're exempt from fasting, then you pay a fidya for a person who doesn't fast. You shouldn't feel guilty, because this is something Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given permission for. So you just pay like approximately about £4 or £5 per person per day for the month, and that works out to be about £150. Then that's a fidya paid, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept.
I mean, Shaykh, like when it comes to for you to be exempt from fasting in diabetes, because as far as I know, anyone that's got diabetes, they can't fast because the insulin is injected into the body. I thought insulin, when it gets injected, that is breaking your fast.
No, the insulin is fine. It's not considered eating and drinking.
Right.
So that's fine, inshallah ta'ala. So if you have diabetes, the insulin doesn't break your fast.
Alhamdulillah. Okay, barakallahu feek. We got another caller. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Ask Eman.
Okay.
You're live in Ask Eman, sister. Assalamu alaikum.
Hello?
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
MashaAllah.
Excuse me, I would like to ask if... Wa alaikum salam.
Sister, do me a favor, inshallah. I can hear you, but you can't hear me because you're listening to me from the mic, from the speakers, and you listen to me from your TV as well. So you're not going to be able to tell which one is speaking to you first.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alaikum salam.
Excuse me, I'd like to ask Shaykh a question. If you do Taraweeh prayer, do you have to do Tahajjud prayer too?
If you did Tarawih prayer, do you have to do Tahajjud prayer?
Yes, thank you.
طيب بارك الله فيكي. طيب شيخنا.
طيب, so if you pray Taraweeh after Salat al-Isha, you don't have to pray Tahajjud. All of these prayers that are offered after Salat al-Isha, after you've prayed your witr, all of these prayers are nafila. They're all voluntary prayers. There's no obligation upon anybody to pray them. But the more that you can pray, then the better, inshallah ta'ala. But certainly it's not an obligation for you. So if you do one, you don't have to do the other. Okay, you don't have to sleep. You know, if a person wants to pray Tahajjud, they say, oh, you have got to go to sleep first. You don't have to go to sleep first, okay? So if you happen to, because the nights are very short with us.
No.
So if you happen to be awake and you want to offer Tahajjud, then go ahead and do that, no problem.
As long as you don't pray the two witr in one day.
Yeah, there's only
twice.
one witr that's prayed, only one witr now.
طيب بارك الله فيك شيخنا. We have a question here via WhatsApp. Starts with Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Can you continue fasting if you are cooking and tasting the food?
Yeah, well, if you're cooking, you're preparing food, then no problem, you can fast. If it's necessary, okay, it's just not like, oh, look at me, I'm fasting and I'm allowed to taste food, watch me, and then I'm going to spit it out, okay? If it's really necessary for you to taste it, and of course you will have to spit it out and you have to wash your mouth out to ensure that none of that remains in your mouth, because if it remains in your mouth and then you swallow it, you're going to break your fast, okay? So you have to be extremely careful when doing this. But if it's absolutely necessary, maybe you work for some, I don't know, very high-class restaurant, and you have to make sure that the food is absolutely in a particular way. If you do it one side or the other, that you could get in big trouble. Okay? If you're making samosas at home, okay, it's a little bit different. It's not as though I have to really taste this now. Is it, you know, you have to really judge yourself. Is it really necessary for me to taste the food? If it is, then of course, by all means do that. But then, of course, you have to make sure that you do not swallow anything and you rinse your mouth out thoroughly.
Barakallah fi Shaykhana. Another question we have WhatsApp. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I would like to know if it is permissible to take overdraft from a bank. They do not have interest, and you can pay your money back every month without paying any interest.
Yeah, so if you have an agreement with the bank that they will give you an overdraft, but the thing is you have to be careful. With these overdrafts, they'll give you maybe a month, and there isn't any, there's no cost to you. They won't charge you anything. But then maybe after 30 days, then there may be. Then you may incur a charge for that.
No.
So you have to be careful of that. But the general rule is that if you borrow money without any risk of paying anything extra on top of that, then it's allowed for you. If there's a risk, then you should avoid it.
طيب. Barakallahu fiqh Shaykh, may Allah reward you. Brothers and sisters, please remember to join us after the outbreak, inshallah. The next question we're going to have after the outbreak is in regards to man's haircut. Which kind of haircut is permissible for a man to have? So brothers and sisters, please remember to join us after the outbreak to hear the answer to this, and permissible, whether it's permissible or not, inshallah. Please remember to join us after the break. For me and the Shaykh for now. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, my dear brothers and sisters. Welcome back to your show, Ask Eman. Brothers and sisters, I'd like to remind you this is the last segment. So if you do have any questions, inshallah, this is your chance to pick up your phone and call us here live in our studio on 0203 515 0769. That's 0203 515 0769, inshallah. But before the break, I did mention, brothers and sisters, that the question is going to be about man's haircut. So Shaykh starts with this WhatsApp question. It starts with Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How should a man get their haircuts? So the permissibility, so it's asking about which way are we allowed to cut it? Are we allowed to have a fade, or does it have to be all in even size, which is leveled?
Okay. Bismillah. So regarding haircuts, instead of, if I reword it, what's allowed for us, if I say to you what's not allowed,
Better.
then it's a very small amount, and then the rest is for you is okay.
Okay.
So if I say to you shaving part of the head and leaving the head is not allowed. In Arabic it's called qaza'. It's not allowed.
Okay.
That's not a fade.
It's not a fade?
No.
Oh,
you know when you get a fade is
starts low.
it starts gets longer and it gets a little bit shorter and things like that. This is something else.
Right.
But al-qaza is shaving. And I understand what you should understand what shaving means, removing the hair completely, shaving it and leaving the part. Okay? So that's not permissible for us. And as for having haircuts which are known to be very female-like, that's also not permissible.
No.
Or those hairstyles that are well known for indecent people.
Yeah.
You know, people who are very bad manners and have not good characters and things like that. You know, and they're well known for a particular haircut. You shouldn't have that either.
Sure.
Other than that, it's allowed for you, whatever you like.
So because the majority of people always go back to skin fade, the one we mentioned first one.
The skin fade, right? So that means if it goes down to the skin.
Yes.
Okay, that means you're shaving part of it and then you're leaving part of it. That's not allowed.
So skin fade starting from bald, working your way up all the way?
Of course, but the thing is, you have to understand where the hair usually grows from.
Right.
If I'm talking, because on the back of your neck, hair doesn't usually grow there.
Sure.
So that wouldn't, and it starts off as, of course, nothing there, and then there's a little bit of hair, then there's a little bit more. No problem, inshallah ta'ala. But where the hair grows, usually, and then you make that shaved, you shave that area, and then you grow other part, that's not allowed.
Okay. Barakallahu feek, Shaykhana. طيب, brothers and sisters, we got another caller, inshallah. Let's take this callers. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Ask Eman.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to yourself and Shaykh Wasim Kempson.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. What's your name, brother? Where are you calling us from?
I'm Hamad Tariq and calling from Birmingham.
Hayak Allah, brother Hamad. What's your question for us today?
Two questions, both are from my daughter. The first question is that she says that she prays at school and then there is a hard floor over there. So when going into sajda, so is it must that she should go knees first to the floor, or can she go hands first and then the knee to avoid hurting her knees or making a sound?
Right.
And
that's
the
in regards to sujood, correct?
Yes, sujood.
Okay, perfect.
So going into sujood, first touching the knees on the floor is must, or she can touch her hands to avoid the hard floor. And the second is, she says that when she is in sajda, if she lays her elbows on the floor, elbows touches the ground, does that invalidate her sajda and the prayer?
Okay, barakallah fik. Khair, inshallah. Jazakallah khair. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. طيب, in regards to the ruling on sujood, Shaykhana, how are we supposed to, let's just generally speak, how are we supposed to perform our sujood?
Okay.
And then we talk about the ruling.
So when we are in a standing position after coming up from ruku', we go down to sujood. There are two views. One view is that you go down and the first to hit the floor is your two knees. And there's another view that is that your hands will go first.
No.
Okay. There's a third view that you can both do it together if at all possible. However, if somebody has the view with they go down with their knees first, however, they're at school, they're playing the playground or something, and the floor is a little bit hard and it actually hurts their knees by going down with their knees first, it's allowed for you to go with your hands first because you don't want to harm yourself. But in other circumstances where it's not going to harm you, then you'd usually go with your knees and you can continue going down with your knees first. Okay? So due to the circumstances, you go with your hands first, there's no problem. Wallahu a'lam.
Shaykh, if we go back to the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ when he spoke, when he mentioned for those who make sujood as if how the camel gets down to the ground.
Yeah.
Now, how do we understand that then?
Okay, so there is a hadith which states that you should not go down like the camel goes down. In fact, there's an interpretation, there's two views of how the actual camel goes down.
Right.
Is it with, if you see a camel's carefully at its leg, you'll see it has different patches which it goes down on first.
Yes.
One can be considered almost its hand, the top part of its hand.
Right.
If it had, of course, they have all legs.
Yes.
But there's a knee part and there's another part.
Yes.
So it depends on how you view actually understand the hadith, whether it goes down with its knee first, or whether it goes in the other part of its, the higher part of its,
Sure.
Of its leg. So there are two legitimate views actually.
Right.
There are different narrations on it. It's a legitimate khilaf, 100%.
Alhamdulillah. So it's
So
not.
if somebody does this, it's valid. Somebody does that, it's valid. There's no one to say that's wrong, that's right. It's just two valid ways.
Perfect. Excellent. In regards to the second question, I think I understood him as an elbow.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
That's
when
right,
you're making
yeah.
sujood. Okay,
Yeah.
if you can explain it, because I didn't quite understand the question.
Sure. So the brother asked if whether when you go into sujood that you put your hands on the floor, but at the same time you have your forearm and your elbow all going on the floor.
Okay.
Does this invalidate your sujood? No, it doesn't invalidate your sujood. However, this is something we are prohibited from doing. In fact, that the Prophet ﷺ told us that we should not go down in sujood as the dog would sit down. So therefore you should raise your elbows. And it was the practice of the Prophet ﷺ to raise his elbows off the floor and have his hands alone when making sujood. Wallahu a'lam. It doesn't mean that your hands need to be far out, okay, because maybe you've got people praying next to you. You may want to put it closer to your body, but the most important thing is that your forearm and your elbow are off the floor.
Shaykh, there's a ruling, isn't it? Which part of your body should be in sujood, number-wise? Sah?
Yeah, so the Prophet ﷺ said, I was commanded to prostrate on 7.
طيب.
These are your 2 feet on the floor, your 2 knees, your 2 hands, and your forehead.
Barakallahu feek. May Allah reward you, inshallah. I hope that answers the question, inshallah, brother. طيب, do you have any callers, brothers? طيب, inshallah. So we're going to go to the next question here. Assalamu alaikum again from WhatsApp. Assalamu alaikum, Shaykh. Is it allowed to make dua in any other language apart of Arabic?
If you're talking about outside of salah, outside of prayer, then you can make dua in any language that you like. Absolutely. No problem, inshallah ta'ala.
On sujood?
In sujood, they said?
Yes.
Oh, in sujood, my apologies. So in sujood, in your fard prayer, in your obligatory prayer, it has to be in Arabic. Allahu alam. But in your nafila prayers, if you want to make dua in your own language, then there's permission for you to do that in your nafila prayers, not your obligatory prayers.
Another question we have is again, Assalamu alaikum from WhatsApp. Assalamu alaikum. I'm currently 11 weeks pregnant and I still get morning sickness. Continue fasting 40 seconds.
You know your situation best. If you think that you're able to fast, then fast. If you're unable to fast due to the sickness, then you make the days up in the future. Don't be talking about I need to pay fidya now and that's it. No, you have to make days up in the future for any days that are not fasted. So you make that call, inshallah.
Barakallahu feek, Shaykhana, for being here. May Allah reward you for every step you've taken to be here and answer our question. Brothers and sisters, may Allah reward you all, inshallah, for taking part in the show. So please remember to join us tomorrow, inshallah, for more Ask Eman. For me and the Shaykh for now. Till next time, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.